Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads. Let's continue with Maryellen taking off. Chapter 11. Get to it. Live in the Airstream and pay no rent, crowed Carolyn. That's brilliant. I want to live in the Airstream too, said Tom. Me too, said Mikey. Just think, Joan, said Maryellen enthusiastically. You could park the Airstream by the college most of the time, and then if you want to travel and Dad wasn't use it, you could hitch it to Jerry's hot rod and off you go. You could drive to Massachusetts to see where the authors you like live, and Mom will be thrilled to get the Airstream, the gigantic river spaceship as she calls it, out of the driveway. And Dad will be thrilled that she's thrilled. You'll be doing both of them a favor. Joan's face brightened with hope momentarily, but then she shook her head. Oh, Ellie, it's so cute of you to come up with such a wild idea. But it's too much to ask Mom and Dad to let Jerry and me take over the Airstream, said Joan. Especially with all the expenses of the wedding coming up. She sighed aside from the bottom of her heart. The truth is, I think they might have to sell the Airstream to pay for my wedding, even though Jerry and I don't want a big hoopla. But Mom's mailing the invitation tomorrow, and after that, there's no going back. But you do want to get married, right? Maryellen asked. Yes, Joan said, but the fancy formal wedding Mom planned is so different from what we want. What do you want? Asked Beverly simply. You mean besides not making Mom unhappy? Asked Joan. Yes, said the other girls. Joan spoke earnestly. I'd like to get married right in our yard, with our families around us. Nothing big, nothing fancy, nothing to distract us from the most important thing, which is Jerry and me promising to love each other and take care of each other forever, she smiled. And we'd celebrate with a little party. Cake, said Mikey happily. Though he was young, he knew that was important at a party. All right, Mikey, honey, said Joan, giving him a swift hug. Maybe cupcakes. Maryellen stood up and brushed the sand off her knees. Okay, she said briskly, let's get to it. Get to what? Asked Joan. Your wedding, said Maryellen. Saturday's the day after tomorrow. I think we can have everything ready by then. No, I mean, but Joan sputtered. A surprise backyard wedding? I couldn't just do that to Mom. She'd be so disappointed. She got her heart set on what she thinks of as a perfect wedding. Mom just wants you to be happy, said Carolyn. She'll understand. Besides, Mom has 5 other children, Beverly pointed out. She has lots more chances at perfect weddings. And didn't you just tell me that if you really love something, you have to stick to it and stand out for it, said Maryellen. Didn't you say that if something is right for you, they should do it, even if it doesn't make sense to other people? Well, yes, but, Joan began. So your wedding won't be the way other people do it, Maryellen continued. It'll be the way you and Jerry do it. It'll be perfect for you. I guess so, said Joan, a bit dazed. Do we have to wear our pink bridesmaid? Do we still get to wear our bridesmaid dresses? Asked Beverly. Of course, said Joan. And your bride outfit is ready, all except the veil, said Maryellen. You can wear a tutu on your head, like Wayne did after Ellie's show, joked Carolyn. I was thinking maybe just a flower, laughed Joan. She looked at them all and smiled exuberantly. You know what? Nobody had better brothers and sisters than I do. You're helping me make my hopes and dreams come true. Thanks a million, you guys. On your wedding day, On her wedding day, Joan wore a cream-colored gardenia tucked behind her ear. Afterward, everyone agreed that Joan was the most beautiful bride they had ever seen, and that Joan and Jerry's backyard wedding was the most beautiful and relaxed wedding they'd ever been to. Beverly, Maryellen, and Carolyn wore their glamorous bridesmaid dresses, finished by Mrs. Fenstermacher and Grandma. Joan and Dad, and Mom too, at Joan's insistence, walked down a pathway with buckets of jasmine and hibiscus toward Jerry and the minister. Maryellen thought that Jerry looked like a movie star, handsome in his white navy uniform, and didn't look stiff at all or formal. He had a smile a mile wide. After the ceremony, all the guests were given white balloons, white skies, white paper fans, and white tissue paper flowers. They ate cake. Mom insisted on making a traditional multi-layered cake, and ice cream cones. Joan's idea, and strawberries on toothpicks. The kids flew their kites, running around the backyard. Mikey fell asleep with frosting on his face. Beverly and Tom got a big kick out of blowing up the extra balloons and then letting them go so that they spiraled around crazily, making a wonderful rude noise as they deflated. Psst. This, signed Joan to Maryellen as they surveyed the scene, is exactly what I wanted. Just then, a deflated balloon swayed all over the patio and landed on Dad's lemonade, and Joan and Maryellen laughed. Joan and Jerry drove off in Jerry's hot rod, trailing the Airstream behind them. Their honeymoon was only going to be the rest of the weekend because Joan had an interview on Monday with the college admissions office to see if she could enroll in January. But even though the honeymoon was going to be short, Maryellen, Carolyn, and Beverly had thoroughly decorated the back of the Airstream anyway with a big sign that read, "Just married," and a string of old shoes and tin cans tied to the bumper. Goodbye, goodbye, everyone called. Joan and Jerry drove off in the shower of flower petals. Dad put his arm around Mom, who was sniffling. "Aw, sweetheart," Mom said comfortably. "Don't be sad. Kids grow up. That's just what they do." "I'm not sad," Mom said. "I'm crying tears of joy because I'm so glad to get that spaceship out of the driveway." But as Mom dabbled her eyes in a hanky, Maryellen could tell that was only half true. She understood. Her own heart was happy for Joan, but sad at the thought what it would be like with without Joan in the house. There would be an empty space in their family, even though Joan and Jerry would be nearby and visit often. Maryellen knew that nothing would be quite the same ever again. The next day, Florida's September rainy season began with grim determination. "Thank goodness it didn't rain like this on Saturday," said Mom on Monday as Maryellen got ready for school. "We'd have to move the wedding into the carport." As was this the dry corner of the carpet, there were leftovers from their wedding. Grounded kites, unblown up balloons, crumpled fans, a party-used box of toothpicks, and drooping tissue paper flowers that had been hastily tossed in a box. Maryellen glanced at them as she opened her umbrella and stepped into the sweet, gusty wind. Normally, she would be dying to tell her school friends all about Joan's wedding, but after their difficult conversation last Thursday, they had avoided another one on Friday. Would her friends still be upset with her? Maryellen wasn't sure if she wanted to find out. Because it was raining, the students gathered in the gym before school started rather than the outside on the playground as usual. It was hot in the gym. Maryellen buttoned her raincoat and flapped the two sides to cool herself off. "Good idea," said Angela, appearing all with the two Karens. "Yeah," said Karen King. "I feel like a steamed lobster." The girls smiled at one another a little sheepishly, and finally Karen said, "Listen, Ellie, we're sorry for getting snippy last week." "Yes," said Angela, "especially if we're not going to see each other very much. We need to be nice to each other, then we do, right?" "Right," said the Karens and the Maryellen. "Hey," said Angela, "I hear your sister had a surprise wedding on Saturday." "She did," said Maryellen, "in our backyard." "Oh, I think that's the most romantic idea I've ever heard," said Karen Stolman. "Tell us everything," begged Karen King. By the time Maryellen had described the wedding in detail, it was time for school to begin. The girls went their separate ways to their separate classes, and Maryellen was relieved that they'd settled their differences so unfussily. Later, when they met for lunch, it was only the teeniest bit awkward as the Karens and Angela talked about their Girl Scout meeting to be held the day after school. "Did you forget to wear your Girl Scout uniform, Ellie?" Karen King asked. Angela jabbed her and frowned. "Oh, right," Karen said quickly. "Your science club meets today. I forgot. Well, that'll be fun." "I hope so," said Maryellen. "Anyway, thanks for not being upset with me anymore about it." "Well," said Karen Stolman philosophically, "we're in the 5th grade now. We're more mature than we were in the 4th grade, so we're smarter about how dumb it is to fight." "Yeah," said Karen King. "Plus, we get rid of all that. We get it that all of us like to do different things. But as long as we Still like each other. That's all that matters, right? Right, agreed the four girls. Maryellen most heartily of all. And that's the end of that chapter.